Hello Aquarius friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my March 2020 horoscope report for you. The month of March is a magical time when we have the astrological new year. So, in this video I am going to discuss the general tone of the month and how that will likely affect Aquarius. We're going to talk about some important dates to note. We're going to talk about this mega money madness aspect that is not only happening in the sign of money, but for y'all, it's also happening in the house of money. So we're going to get to that. We're also going to talk about how we manage the retrograde energies, because that's still coming up. This popping up for air, where there are certain dates that if you got to do launches, I'm going to tell you what those are, or anything big decisions. And we're going to talk about Saturn moving into Aquarius and what this means for Aquarius. Okay, so I'm going to go into a lot of detail about that, because Saturn moving into your sign, any planet moving into your sign, especially one that's an outer planet that takes a long time to move around, is going to have significant impact on your life, and we're going to discuss the timeline as to when you're likely to see those changes. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the general tone of the month. Okay, so we have a lot of energy in Pisces and we have a lot of energy in Earth signs. Neither of these placements are super naturally in the flow for Aquarius. So what that means is that you're still going to have emotions, either your own or from other people, that are kind of either getting in the way of things or forcing you to look at emotional aspects of your life, and that may be welcome. And it may not be, but it's definitely going to take you out of the energy of Aquarius that is normal for you. Now, the Earth placements that are going to be dominating this month, because Venus and Mars are going to be moving through these Earth signs, have to do with action and taking action. So this is going to be a time when your ideas are going to be put to the test, and the chance to bring your ideas into manifestation are going to come. Even though the retrograde time, which is basically all month until March 30th, because even though Mercury goes direct around the 9th, depending on what your time zone is, the shadow period is going to last for most of March. So, that's telling us go inward, go backward, time for short-term arrangements, things like that. Not necessarily a time to take action on long-term things if you can help it, because you're likely not seeing the whole story. But you can, and likely it will be important to, take action on small pieces, okay? Or getting things done closer to home, things that have been needing to get done, and kind of like tasks, taxes and clearing clutter and, insurance and, just like things that have to be dealt with. Now is the time to deal with those things, and a lot more of those types of things. Okay, so in general, there's a harmonious level, like there's a lot of energy that's harmonious in the sky, even though they're butting up against your placements in a little bit of an annoying way. There's a lot of general harmony because the earth and the water predominant in the sky are blending well with each other. So even though they're going to bring those emotions and bring, some calls to action and maybe some lack of clarity as to where you should put that action, the predominance of the month is sweet aspects. So whenever that happens, we hope that manifests with better energy. We also have a bunch of a 60-degree angle this month, which is back to that idea that we talked about, where you have to do something. Information will come in, options will come in, resources will come in, and then you have to utilize it. Like, let's say someone gifts you a book or a course, then this is a beautiful aspect, this 60-degree aspect. Something's come to you, but you have to actually take the time to do the course or take the time to read the book or something like that. So a little action required on your part. If you're not sure of what to do, then wait. Okay, that's the big thing to remember this month, because with the lack of clarity sometimes with the Pisces energies plus the retrograde energies, if you're not sure what to do, the energies will get more clear towards the end of the month. Then we've got our power time between March 30th and April 9th, where we're completely free of personal planet retrogrades and their shadow periods. This is a rare stretch of time for the year of 2020, because as I've been telling you, we've got Mercury retrograde 3 times this year, we've got Venus retrograde, we've got Mars retrograde. So it's going to be a rare time when you don't have any of those influences. So what that means is that your big decisions, big commitments, contracts, life-changing decisions, launches, big steps, you want to try, if it's in your sync to do it, to push those between March 30th and April 9th. You'll see that at the end of March, I'm going to have a new book come out, and I'll tell you all the details about that then. So I'm with you using the information that I'm sharing with you in my life, and I found it to be helpful, which is part of why I want to help you with that. Okay, so this mega money energy, I'm sure you're really interested in what that looks like. So the sign or the planet Venus rules money. It also rules love. So all the things we're talking about with these things for money can also have something to do with love or romance or something with your relationships. But the planet Uranus is coming into close contact, well, actual exact contact with the planet Venus. So that brings surprises to love, surprises to money. And because it's happening in the sign of Taurus, which rules money, and for some of you, really more of the February born Aquariuses, you're going to have that also in the house of money. But don't worry, January born Aquariuses, you're still in this because the contact is happening in the sign of money, and that's true for all of the zodiac. Just the February born Aquariuses, or 10 to 29 degrees if you're watching for your moon or rising, you get a little bit of extra kind of money focus because of the location in the chart where it's falling for you. So usually this is things that come out of the blue. Now, just to be fair and honest, I don't know how this is going to manifest for you. It could just as easily manifest as a huge bill or something unwelcome in love or money. But because there is a chance, and an increased chance, that money can come out of the blue with this transit. I see it happen all the time in chart readings that I do, that this type of combination in this type of sign, in this type of location, will bring people money out of nowhere. Okay, so hopefully that mega money will come to you. You might have to do something for it, like we talked about with these certain angles, but it could just come and you didn't do anything. Okay, so if you have something that you're expecting, this could be the catalyst that brings it to you. Okay, so the next thing, so that's going to happen actually March 8th or so, depending on your time zone. So like Venus transits usually about 3 or 4 days before you could feel it. So like, the 4th through like the 12th, we'll say, is hot for this extra money, extra love, interesting. Sometimes this can be like sudden romantic encounters. This can be chance meetings, or someone comes back from the past that wasn't in a love context that can now be in a love context, or, something like that. There's a million ways this can manifest. But it all centers around those big topics that everyone's interested in, love and money. This can also be self-esteem. So either a massive boost to your self-confidence where you feel certainty about something, or where you get a little blow where you gotta, work it out. Now, do you remember that a lot of times, so if it does turn out that this is not a positive manifestation, it usually will blow over quickly. Okay, so because of the Venus aspect of it, usually if there's an upset, it will tend to smooth out over a couple of days. So hopefully it's a sweet surprise. Okay, so the next date to note, or actually series of dates to note, is between March 11th and March 19th. There's a sweet spree of aspects. So even though Mercury is going to be retrograde until around the 9th, and there's not exact clarity about like the big steps forward, look out that week or that like 8 days or so, because some important things may come through, and if you have to do something, you can have energy towards that, because the challenging aspects are sandwiched more towards the earlier part of the month and the latter part of the month. So this is like just a sweet little, time where it's just good energy. Okay, so now that doesn't mean that something won't bump up against something in your personal chart that won't go well. I can't see that in this, but I'm talking from the general aspect standpoint. So March 19th, we have the astrological new year, and this is really exciting because there's a fresh new start. There's a lot of energy about starting new. There's, zest and drive and ambition and excitement and options and things opening up. So as the shadow period is wearing off of Mercury, it's perfect timing, because the astrological new year starts March 19th, and around the 24th, depending on your time zone, the new moon in Aries will happen. And that's like the kickoff party for the astrological new year. It's like the astrological new year happens the 19th. Then the 24th, everyone's like, yay, here's the party. And so those days around the 24th are amazing for creating vision boards. This is one of the best times of the year for planting seeds. A vision board, in case you don't know about this, is either where you cut out magazine things, or you do this virtually online, where you're cutting out either something specific, like a certain kind of car you want, or a certain type of device you want, or an essence, like pictures that show tranquility or peace or abundance, an essence that you want to bring more of in your life. The universe is very receptive to your seed planting at this time. So, and you can see more about that if you search for Making Wishes Come True, Annie. You'll find my video on this where I talk about using astrological power periods for manifestation. So between the Earth planets movements this month and the zesty Aries energy coming in, this could be a mega manifestation time. It's very exciting. Okay, so write on your calendar the dates that I already gave you, especially concentrating on March 30th through April 9th. In case you have to do something important, you'll be able to come up for air there. Okay, let's see now. What else I wanted to talk about has to do with Saturn. Okay, so big news in March is that Saturn moves into Aquarius. This has been, Saturn is in a sign for years, 3 to 4 or more years, sometimes anywhere between like 2.5 to 4-ish years. Saturn is in one sign. And so we've had it in Capricorn for a long time, and it's getting into Aquarius. So this is a big deal in the cosmos. But something I want to make sure you understand, and I don't know what other people say. I'm figuring most people aren't talking about what I'm about to tell you, which is part of why I'm taking the time to do this, but it's important for you to know. Saturn, when it moves into a different sign, can also be moving into a different house, a field of experience in your chart. So it can start to bring new themes in. But because of the transit of Saturn moving into Aquarius, then getting to 1 degree of Aquarius, and then moving retrograde and going back into Capricorn, it's going to take a while for most Aquarius placements to feel the strongest parts of Saturn moving through your sign and Saturn moving into this new house for you, okay? So bear with me here for a minute. I've got to get some important understanding for you, because when Saturn crosses over your Aquarius placement, you are going to feel that. Whether it's your sun, your moon, your rising sign, it's going to be a big time for you. Saturn has a spectrum. From the lowest end of the spectrum, it's heaviness, depression, difficulties, obstacles, hardships. But the higher end of the manifestation or the spectrum is pure manifestation, like idea to form, things gelling that you've been waiting for a long time. Accomplishment, recognition, really building and creating something of value and laying a foundation for future growth. Okay, so the spectrum of Saturn is going to be coming to your placement in a certain timeline. Only those of you at the very beginning of the sign or the first few degrees, if you're watching for your moon or rising Aquarius, are going to be affected in 2020. Okay? This is important to note, because in this whole year where everyone's talking about Saturn and Aquarius, it's only ever going to be in 1 degree of Aquarius this year. So unless you're in that beginning part, it's not touching your placement. Now, you might start feeling the themes coming in, because these outer planets, when they move and they come close to something, they start bringing themes sometimes, 6 to 9 months beforehand. So you might be feeling Saturn's movement getting close to you, but it's not actually going to hit your placement, until, well, I'm going to tell you when. All right, so if you're in the first couple of days, especially the first day of the sign or the first degree of the sign, 0 or first 2 days, you're going to be getting hit exactly this year, okay? But everybody else, you're not going to get hit until 2021 through 2023. All right, so I'm going to give you the breakdown here. 2021, you will have Aquarius from 0 to 13 degrees. So that means that January born and the first few days of March, you all are going to get crossed over in 2021. Now, remember, those of you with the first couple of days, first couple of degrees, you're going to get crossed over in 2021, but you're also going to have your themes in 2020. You're the only ones, though. Okay, so January born, first couple of days of February, 2021 is when Saturn's going to cross over your placement. Major themes, life-changing crossroads. For those of you, let's see, so from 11 to 25 degrees, or like we're talking about like basically the first couple of weeks of February, you guys are going to be getting it in 2022. And then the end of the sign, you'll start to have themes in 2022. But depending on your exact placement, it may not hit until 2023. So everyone 25 degrees and later, you're not going to get your exact hit until 2023. Okay, so I just want to kind of put this in perspective for you, because people start to get nervous when they hear Saturn's coming for me, okay? Yeah, it can be very stressful. I've been there. I've had Saturn cross my sign. It can definitely be hard. But the amount of manifestation, productivity, results, outcomes, I mean, it can be completely life-changing in wonderful ways too. But if you're later in the sign, this isn't the year this is happening for you, okay? So that's the first important point I want to drive home. The second point is that about like now taking the fact that Saturn is going through your sign out of the picture, Saturn moving into a different house for you, this is the same story. So if people start talking about Saturn going into your first house, again, only those of you at the beginning are going to have Saturn going into your first house this year. Everybody else is going to still have the energy of Saturn in the 12th house, okay? So what does that mean? When Saturn is involved, Saturn wants you to be disciplined, apply hard work, persistence, consistency to everything in life, but especially the places where you're having trouble and the places where Saturn is in your chart. So the 12th house, which is going to be still affected for all Aquariuses for this year, 2020, is the house of your subconscious mind. So basically, what Saturn wants you to do here is master your mind. Okay, now few humans are going to truly, completely master their minds in form. You know, that's pretty, rare for somebody to completely master their mind. But the goal of mastering your mind, mastering your fears, slaying your dragons, clearing out ancestral clutter, clearing out trauma, that task is what Saturn wants Aquariuses to do. If you have been depressed, if things have been heavy for you, if you've had a lot of stress on your mind over the previous years, probably it's because Saturn has been crossing through this house for you. And there's going to be this continued this year. Now, the good news about it is that if you're doing the hard work and if you are like trying to solve the problem, then usually the tail end of a transit, which this year is going to be in this 12th house for all of you, is going to yield the results. So it's like the first parts of the transit introduce the problem. And then over time, you get used to working with Saturn, you get, you work hard, you start to get results, and then you start to be able to get to the other end of it. You might need help psychologically. You might need things like hypnosis, past life regression. Meditation is amazing. Working with your dream time, anything, using subliminals, anything where you're programming or using the power of your subconscious mind for your benefit, it's already creating mischief and madness for you. Because all the things that are happening in your life are coming through your subconscious mind. So you're already getting that end of it. So the way you get the other end of it is you tame the unruly mind. You channel the unruly mind. You release emotional and mental heaviness through therapies and through practices. And sometimes, even nutrition and supplementation and things like that. And that's how you master this Saturn transit, okay? So for those of you who are the first couple of days, couple of degrees, this is moving very much into like your physical body, although this could have been showing up in your physical body as well because there's a mind-body connection. So for everybody, that could have been mind-body connection. But there's this extra focus on the physicality. And this is the theme that the rest of you are going to have like starting, 2021 and on, but is really coming in clear for those of you at the beginning of the sign. Any work that you do in your physical body now, the rest of you, is going to be able to head off potential problems in a bigger way because you're getting the lessons early, and then when the time comes, you may have mastered some of this already. Okay, so that's why I tell you about this stuff early, because if you understand what's happening, so like exercise routines, you know, taking care of your physical body, getting your routine tests, getting anything checked out that has symptoms, changing your diet, reducing your stress, things like that are becoming huge pieces for you. And that's for all of you, okay? And now the other theme that's coming in with this moving into the first house, which is going to get stronger over time, has to do with who you are, what you're here to do, and like redefining yourself. Like, who are you? What are you doing? Why are you here? And how are you going to bring what you're bringing? You know, so really just like getting in touch with your purpose, getting in touch with your passion, and recreating your life. And that's what Saturn can help you do. Saturn moving through your sign really helps you to do that. So even though it's feared because of this heaviness and obstacles and difficulties that it's often associated with, the purpose of it is to get you on track, is to train you, is to, you know, help you change your life by using the principles of Saturn, which are hard work and, you know, consistency and all of this. Okay, so in general, just a quick summary. Super sweet aspects this month. Most of them are sweet compared to salty. Lots of harmony in the sky. Little bit of awkwardness specifically for Aquarius because of the earth and water not jiving exactly, perfectly with you all. But what that usually means is that the emotions might be having to be navigated, yours or somebody else's. And this could be welcome. Maybe you want to do this. But, you know, it might come as a little bit of annoyance or feel like you don't have time for it. You're going to have to kind of put your money where your mouth is in some ways and take some action. The later you get in March, the more clarity you'll have about what to do with that action. If you're not sure, then try to wait, okay, if you can help it. There are the, you know, or the dates around March 8th for the surprises in love and money extra. You've got the astrological New Year on the 19th. You've got the the New Year party of the new moon in Aries. Vision board time around the 24th of March. Then from March 30th through April 9th, that's when you want to do your big launches. You'll have more clarity, do your important steps. Okay, so overall, a very exciting month. Lots of things going on. Saturn is changing signs, but now you understand what, putting that into perspective, that in some ways that might not change all that much for you. Okay, now what could come in and could be a positive change from this energy shifting is that any work that you have done with Saturn and Capricorn, so work with your father figures, work with your job, you know, career stuff, anything having to do with authority figures and, you know, establishing yourself as an authority figure, you might start to get Saturn gifts. And that's one of the things that comes from Saturn leaving a sign is Saturn gifts. But since it's not officially leaving the sign for another year, you might still have some more work to do in order to get those gifts. Okay, so if you want more information about how you can use astrology to help you, you can go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. I send out all the sweet dates, all the salty dates, what the aspects are, what you can expect with them, plus the written general overtone of the month. A month early into your inbox when you sign up at anniehelpsyou.com for my newsletter. You can also see lots of blogs on my website, including lots of Venus in retrograde blogs, and that's coming in April, so you might want to start prepping for that. You can also sign up for my astrology apprenticeship program, now called Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course, so you can do that at anniehelpsyou.com or lumelife.com, L-U-M-E life.com. All these links are also underneath the video. And you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com to see written horoscopes by me 1 month early, plus lots of astrology-related blogs as it relates to healthy lifestyle and making the most of the astrology placements. Plus, it's a beautiful site, cozybysweetstarlight.com. So, I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye!